Welcome back to Yarny Box. This month's tutorial is for Hamish the Hot Dog, this super cute fun summer crochet project. If you don't already have your Hamish the Hot Dog kit, head to yarnybox.com to pick up yours today. In your Yarny Box kit, you'll find that the magic ring is already started for you. This is so that we can start off the project nice and easy and you don't have to worry about a complicated beginning. This is the very first round of the project. Here you'll see I'm pointing out the little V's. These are actually stitches, so you should be able to go around the circle and count 6 stitches or 6 V's. The stitches are what you're going to be working into in the next round in order to build on your project. You'll also find 2 stitch markers. This blue one here is marking the very first stitch of the round. That's where we're going to place the first stitch of the next round. The green stitch marker is marking the loop in which you're going to place your crochet hook to start working. You can see here that you can actually tighten and loosen this loop by pulling on this string that's attached to the ball of yarn. There are 2 different ways in which you can hold your crochet hook. This first way is like a knife. The second way is like a pencil. I personally find the pencil hold a little bit easier, but it's up to you. You can play around and hold your crochet hook however you'd like. Next, you're going to take the yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn and wrap it a couple times around your finger. And then I like to pinch the magic ring with my middle finger and thumb like this. Again, this is just how I like to work on my projects, but as you go along, you can play with how you want to hold everything. So you can remove the green stitch marker and pop in your crochet hook into that loop. You're going to want to tighten the loop to make it so that it's pretty tight on the crochet hook. Don't make it so tight that you can't move the crochet hook, but you definitely don't want it to be too loose. Something like this is appropriate. The trickiest part about learning how to crochet is learning how to hold everything in your hands. I definitely recommend re-watching the beginning of this video until you get the hang of holding everything. And if you accidentally undo your magic ring, I have a tutorial linked down below of how to redo that. So let's get started on round 2. We're going to start off by removing the blue stitch marker. You can pull on it a little bit and you'll find a little hole. That's exactly where we're going to be inserting our hook into to make the very first stitch of round 2. So once you pop out your stitch marker, you're going to insert your hook exactly where the stitch marker was. Before we insert a hook, I just want to make sure that you're holding your hook properly. So you want to make sure it's parallel to your body and make sure the hook is facing downwards. That's going to make it a lot easier to guide the yarn in and out of each stitch. So pop your hook into the stitch. Again, it looks like a V, so now you should have 3 little loops on your hook. Next, we are going to yarn over, which means we're grabbing the yarn with our crochet hook like this, and we are gliding the yarn through the first 2 little loops on our hook like so. And now we're going to do that again, so yarn over, and pull the yarn through the 2 loops on your hook. This is called a single crochet. This is the first stitch of the round. Our next stitch is going in the exact same stitch that we were just in. So this stitch and not this stitch. We're going in the same hole that we were just in. So insert your hook into that little V, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops like so. Now you have 2 loops left on your hook, so yarn over and pull through those 2 remaining loops. What we just did is called an increase because we popped 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Now you're going to count down 2 stitches away from the loop or the first stitch that we made, and you're going to mark it with a stitch marker. Next, we're going to make another single crochet in the next available stitch. So that's going to be this one here. Pop in your hook. There's 3 loops on your hook now. Yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops. And then yarn over again and pull through those second 2 loops. That was 1 single crochet. Now we're going to make our second single crochet in the same exact hole. So in the same place we just were, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over again, pull through the second 2 loops. Again, this is called an increase because we placed 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. So now we have 4 new stitches, but we've only worked into 2 stitches from the previous round. So here I'm just pointing out with my thumb the 4 new stitches that we've done. Carrying on to the next stitch, we are going to make a single crochet, and now we're going to make a second single crochet in the exact same hole. Moving on to the next stitch. Again, here's your first single crochet, and here's your second single crochet in the same stitch. Again, popping your first single crochet in there and your second single crochet. And now we're moving on to the very last stitch of the round. 1 single crochet and 2 single crochets. That completes round 2. So because we placed 2 single crochets in each of the stitches of the previous round, we now have 12 little V's or 12 stitches in this round. So you should be able to go around and count 12 stitches. For round 3, we are going to be increasing in every 4th stitch around. We are going to take our magic ring from 12 stitches up to 15 stitches. So go ahead and remove your stitch marker and place your first single crochet of the round. You're placing this single crochet in the stitch exactly where the stitch marker was. And then mark that stitch. Now we are going to place another single crochet in the next available stitch. And another single crochet in the next stitch. And then in this 4th stitch, we are going to be placing an increase. And again, an increase is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And now we are going to single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and increase. So 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Then single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and increase in the last stitch before the stitch marker. And now you should have 15 stitches in your circle. This is actually going to be it for increasing as well, so we are just going to work on creating the body of the hot dog next. For round 4, all we are doing is placing 1 single crochet in each stitch around the circle. We are no longer increasing, so we will still have 15 stitches in our circle at the end of this round. So go ahead and make your first single crochet and then mark that stitch. And just continue single crocheting in each one of these stitches, no more increasing. And you may or may not take comfort in knowing that the next 22 rounds are exactly the same. So all we're doing for the next 22 rounds is 1 single crochet in each stitch around the circle. So I'm going to do a couple rounds with you and then I will speed up the video. But for now, round 4, just work on 1 single crochet around. And be sure to flip your project the right way out as well as you're working. We're coming up on the last few stitches of round 4 here. So again, once you get back to the stitch marker, we are always going to take it out and mark the beginning stitch of every single round. It's really important that you keep that in mind because it's much easier to keep track of your rounds this way. So remove your stitch marker, place your first stitch of round 5, and then mark that stitch. And then again, all we're doing is 1 single crochet in each one of these stitches for a total of 15 stitches by the end of the round. That completes round 5. For the next 21 rounds, we are doing exactly what we just did. 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Just be sure to move the stitch marker at every single round. Here I'm going to show you how to count your rounds in case you lose track. So that very center piece, that is round 1 right here. That's round 2, 3, 4, and round 5. So you can tell the rounds, they're kind of like lines that are separated between tiny little holes. And that is how you can count your rounds. So by the end of making the body of the hot dog, you will have a total of 26 rounds in the entire hot dog. And before we move on to the rest of the body, we are going to weave in our center tail as well. And that's going to make sure that it doesn't come unwoven. So you can flip your hot dog inside out and then grab your yarn needle that's in your Yarny Box kit and thread your needle with that yarn. It's easier to kind of fold it in half and then scooch it onto the yarn needle so that the yarn doesn't fray. Pull that ring nice and tight, and then all you're doing here is poking your needle in and out of random stitches in the bottom of the hot dog to make sure that the tail doesn't come undone. And make sure when you're poking the yarn needle in and out, you're only going over 1 stitch at a time so that you can't see it on the outside. I like to go back and forth probably 7 or 8 times just to make sure it's super secure. Now you've flipped your project right side out again, and you can just kind of shove the tail in there and we will continue working. This is round 6, but I am going to speed up on the camera so that you don't have to listen to me every single round. And I will meet you back once you've done 21 more rounds, or again, you will be at round 26 in total by the end of the body. We are coming up on the last few stitches of round 26. All we have left to do is poke in the eyeballs and finish closing up the hole of the hot dog. We are going to make Hamish's eyes, so grab your safety eyes from your Yarny Box kit. They should be 2 little black circles with 2 little washers that go on the backs of them. And you are just going to go a few rounds down from the bottom. I like to go down around an inch or so. It doesn't have to be super specific. And pop in your eyes how you want them. I like mine to be very close together, about 1 or 2 stitches apart, but again, you can do whatever you'd like. Just keep in mind that there are going to be buns on either side, so they should be relatively close together. And I'm just going to move them up a little bit, so that's about 3 rounds down from the top. And then for the backs, you just pop on these little washers on the back once you're happy with where your eyes are. Just make sure your eyes are on the opposite side of where your stitch marker is as well. And then I'm going to stuff my hot dog. Make sure you pull apart your stuffing so that it doesn't get all clumpy. And just pop it right into the hot dog. I don't like to have my hot dog stuffed super firmly because you can see the stuffing through the holes. So just do enough stuffing where the hot dog is firm but you can't see the stuffing. Be sure not to overfill the top of the hot dog or else we're going to have a really hard time crocheting the hole shut here. You can definitely add more stuffing as we work, so just keep that in mind. Remove your stitch marker and place your first stitch of the next round, round 27, and then mark that stitch. Next, you're going to make another single crochet and then another single crochet. And now we are going to do a decrease. So to do a decrease, you can see that every stitch has a front loop and a back loop. This is the back loop of a stitch, and this is the front loop. We are going into the front loop only of the next 2 stitches. So here you can see I'm in the front loop only, and then I'm also going into the next stitch beside it because we are combining 2 stitches into 1 stitch. And you should have 3 loops on your hook right now. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops on your hook, like so, and then yarn over again and pull through those remaining 2 loops. And that is a decrease. So we are going to single crochet in the next stitch, and then another single crochet, and another single crochet, and then we are going to decrease again. So front loop only of the next 2 stitches, like so. Yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And then 3 single crochets. That's 3. And this is our last decrease. So front loop only of the next 2 stitches, and then complete your decrease. And that has left us with 12 stitches, and I'm going to firm up my hot dog a little bit more, and then the next round is our very last round, and we are decreasing around the entire circle. Go ahead and remove your stitch marker and then reinsert your hook, and we are going to start off this round by a decrease. Like so. And then we are going to mark this stitch. And this round is decreasing only, so just go around the circle and decrease every stitch. Just make sure you're keeping your tension tight this whole time so that you don't get any really big loose gaps. And now you can remove your stitch marker, and we're going to finish off the hot dog with a slip stitch. So insert your hook in the next stitch and yarn over, then pull that yarn through all the loops on your hook. It can be a little tricky with this yarn. All that does is make a nice little seam. And then we are going to trim our yarn, leave about 10 inches or so to weave in the end, and then pull the yarn through the loop here to fasten off. To sew the hole completely shut, grab your yarn needle and thread your needle. And then we are going to poke our needle through every front loop of the stitches remaining. So just in the front loop of the last 6 stitches here. This is going to create a drawstring where we can just pull the hole shut. Once you've pulled your hole shut, you can just weave in your end. So I like to go directly back into the top just to round out the top. Shape it how you'd like, and then just weaving your needle in back and forth so that it doesn't come unwoven. In part 2, I'm going to show you how to make the hot dog buns and the mustard, and I will see you there.